with Half Dozen Customs. We're back out here on the Jeep. I did some work to it last night that I forgot to film. I had every intentions of filming it, and I was getting ready, and then we had company stop by, and they hung out for about an hour or so, and then when they left, it was late. It was, I think, almost 11 o'clock at night, and I just forgot to turn the camera on when I started working. So we did get the cab corner back on, tacked in place. I drilled some holes up through the bottom of the inside piece to our box, and I spot welded them. So that's all secure in there. I tacked the rocker back in place. We put the fender on. I bolted everything up. I kind of worked slow. Remember I told you we had like a 1/4 inch gap on this side and we needed about an 1/8 inch. I tightened everything up and we have an 1/8 of an inch. So we're good. I'm happy with that. I think we are ready to weld this cab corner up solid. But before we do that, I think it's time to cut this fender along here and make a new piece. I made a new piece for the other side, so I'm just gonna make a new piece for this side. Like I said, it's either I cut it and I let it relax and then we fill the V in, which then we'll have 2 welds, where if I just make a new piece, we'll have 1 weld. It's what I did on the other side, so we're just gonna stick with the same thing and do the same thing on this side. So I'm gonna mark it. Maybe. This is not marking. So, right on my pants, no problem. That's not where I need to mark. Let's wipe it off real quick. So, and also, there was the front of the Jeep. I don't know if it got filmed or whatnot, but the last time I put the front of this Jeep together, and this was before we did everything to where we could bolt it up down here, the grill did not line up very nice with the front of the fender, and I had to get the top bolt in it. This was last week or whatnot. Excuse me, I got burpees. This was last week or whatnot, and I got the 1 bolt in on the top, and then I had to use a pry bar down on the bottom of the grill to pull the bottom of the grill out far enough for me to even get the bolts in. And I didn't like that. I mean, it looked fine once it was all bolted up, but I didn't like that I had to use the pry bar to pull it into place. But this time when I put it together, it went right together. I didn't have to do that. So I don't know if it had to do with bolting this bottom up, or if maybe something was just hanging up on it last time and it wasn't hung up on it this time. I don't know what it was, but much happier with the fitment at the grill section. So I think we're moving along. You know, we're slowly getting this side together. You know, I don't know if it's going any faster or slower than the other side. I remember I had a lot to deal with on the other side compared to this side. You know, on the other side, we had to cut the whole fender and move everything and do all this crazy stuff to it. Or this side, we didn't have to do that. So, but I am still gonna make the pie cuts here, like I did on the other side, to open up this gap here. I think just from the company that we got these from, you know, I think that, because it was like it on both sides, this curve that they have in this panel just don't match the curve of the fender. So would it have been probably better to cut this patch and put the curve in that? Yeah, probably, but I didn't do it like that on the other side. So, and I want everything to kind of match, you know, what I did. So I'm just gonna do the same thing I did on the other side. So next time we have this fender off, which may be tonight with doing this, we're gonna put the pie cuts in there. And all I did was we put a couple of pie cuts in there to relieve all the pressure there, and then I welded them up, and it gave us our nice 1/8" gap there, so that it's consistent 1/8" gap along the bottom and then up the top. You know, the whole reason that I did that, and the whole reason that I want it like that, is just so when we go to bolt it together, it's not smushing the paint. And then, you know, driving down the road and it cracks the paint, and then, you know, you have a problem with it starting to rust there. So and I think after we do this and we get this set, we're gonna do the door skin next. And somewhere in between the door skin and having the door off, I have to do this door catch thing in here. We just ran a rerun of that door catch. It was one year to the day that I did that door catch on the other side. And it's really cool how that door catch is set up. Whoever designed it did a great job designing it. And the video that I put together, it was a year ago. This vehicle was the first vehicle to be on our YouTube channel. Or no, it was a Monte Carlo, but these were both at like the same time. I started both of them like right at the same time. So, but the camera, I had it sitting over behind me, and the video wasn't all that good. It wasn't very explanatory of how I did that. Wasn't a good video. You couldn't even really see what I was doing in the video, especially if you're watching these from a phone. So this time I'm gonna get all up close and personal. We have better equipment, more accessible to get into tighter areas. You know, I think the last one we were on a tripod with the camcorder. I can't put the tripod like in my working area for you guys to get a good view. This camera setup, I can have it right next to me, and it's not taking up all this room. So, but here we go. We're gonna cut.
Ooh, sneaky paint.
Okay, you can see here how much, you know, plus a little bit, because I'd like this gap to be closed up a little nicer. That's what I was doing with the screwdriver, and then I tried to tap it over with the hammer. It's just the backing plate that actually bolts to this is bent out of shape from trying to pull the fender in where it needed to go. So this is what we're gonna, you know, we would either have to fill this, I would have to pull this piece out, straighten it up, and we would have to fill this V, but instead we're just gonna remake this out of a new piece. So now I can unbolt this piece and we can pull this out and the fender will stay on there. And then when we remake this new piece, you know, we'll leave it a little long. We'll trim up to where we need to be. We use this piece to mark all the holes that need to be there. So let's unbolt that piece and figure out our next move. So I kind of remember how I did it on the other side. Not exactly, you know, this was quite some time ago, but you can see, I don't know if you guys can see in the video, but you can tell, like, these bowl holes are like pushed out this way from the bolt being tightened and trying to pull the fender, and the core support here, actually, where this mounts to, was all cracked. I had to weld that up from the other fenders that were on here. Like, this isn't just a problem with these fenders because these fenders don't belong on this Jeep. This is a problem, I think, with all the Jeeps. The blue fenders that were on here had the same problem. The driver's side was actually ripped like halfway down it, and the passenger side was starting to rip. So, you know, it's just it's an issue with these fenders. If I remember correctly, the driver's side of the red fender was ripped too, but it was only ripped like right at the top. So it's just an issue with these Jeeps, and you know, I don't know. You know, I look at other videos and pictures of other Jeeps that are being built. I don't know if this is something that everybody does to these things, but you know, from what I've seen, like I said, I have like 5 or 6 sets of fenders here for this thing, and they're all screwed up in this area. So, you know, I'd like to know what other builders do to fix that problem. Or did I just have bad luck and just get a bunch of fenders that are all in the same area? I don't know. I've never... It's my first Jeep that I've built like this. So we need to get some metal over here. I do remember on this side that we did over here. So we remade this side. And there was something here with bending this top piece over. I had cut it short and I had to put a filler piece in here and weld it up. I mean, you can't even tell that I did that, but let's try not to do that this time. I don't really remember what it is that I did or screwed up, but let's try not to do it again. If we do it again, it happens, but I know I did it on this one, so let's try and look out for it. And what it was when we did all the bends and whatnot, I didn't leave enough. So it left me with a little gap just on the top. So yeah, so last time I think I marked this and then we just added extra to it and I cut it over here and then we bent it and then this top piece was missing. And that's what I ended up having to remake, was this top piece. I had to make it and weld it on. So let's make sure that we leave some extra there for that. I'm gonna hammer these bolt things back flat. Just so that maybe we can have a level playing field here. I had no problem with this hitting those bowl holes. I know on the other side, we changed where the mounting holes were on the fender. But I don't think that we have to do that on this side. The way I was standing, my special area was getting a little warm there. Alright, I'm going to take this over to the brake and we're going to put a bend in it. So I marked it. The first mark that I made was where the bend needed to go. Hopefully. Get my straight edge here. Should be able to bend this top over as well. Oh no, wait, that's not where that was. Alright, let's hope that guy's in the right spot. I'm going to bend him up. Alright, now we have our bend over there as well, so hopefully we're good. Now, should be able to drill out these holes and bolt this to the firewall then behind the fender, and then we should be able to mark the fender where it's at, and then we can cut it. It should fit, and then we'll weld it in. Right? Right? That's how we do it? So, that's pretty much it. If I was to put this bend back in there. So, I put that bend back in there. So, we have two matching pieces. It's just longer. Go check this. I think we put this bend in the wrong spot. Let's see if that's so. I think so. Let's drill some holes in it. I did go and try and slip this in behind it. It looks like we're gonna have to cut a little off on an angle down here. We do know that we know that it goes down to nothing here, and then we need to come up to like, here. So I should be able to trim a lot of this off down here, and we'll be okay. So let's see what we can do about drilling some holes. Middle one, it jumped so fast it went up to the next size. Okay. Like I said, I think it's safe to say we can take some of this off, because otherwise I can't slip this in behind, because as you can see, I can't. So we need to take some of this off. Remember, I have my mark on the back side of the panel we cut out, so I kind of know where we're close. I can still take a little more off. Just take a little by little. Get this in. There it is. There's this brace back here that I cut off of the other side, which is not allowing me to slip in from the back. That brace wasn't there. Okay, so marked it. We're gonna give it a shot. Fingers crossed. All right, hopefully that wasn't a mistake. So I put it in the shear and I butted the shear up against this side, and then I cut it down to our mark. Maybe I think that's gonna work. Just gotta get the grinder for some fine tuning. I could have made it work just by like putting a little pressure on the fender and opening up the gap just a hair, and we would have been fine. But our little lower lip down here we had was on the inside of the cut, and I'd rather it be on the outside. So I had to remove it. I had to remove it anyways. I adjusted this bend just a hair that I wanted to do that again, but guys, his battery died, so I got your new battery and I grabbed the welder. I haven't done nothing to it yet, but I'd like to see. Man, there is a happy spot for this thing, and it is tough to hit. We had a little bit of an issue here, but I'm not worried about it. It'll be fine. So that's it. Look at how nice our gap is now. Looks good. I am happy with that. We can weld it up and be done with that piece. So, but I think that's for another day. It is past my bedtime. So what we still have to do, so down here, this gap between the rocker and this piece is too big. So it all had to do with shifting this panel up. I told you guys before, I am 99% sure that this bend that was put in this panel was in the wrong spot. So when they welded this piece on, it was also in the wrong spot. So because I had to shift everything to make it fit, it opened this gap up. Me and Colleen took measurements last night of the other side, and this little block that they welded on here is in the wrong spot. If you measure from this corner to the front of the block on that side, it's a different measurement. and it has like an 1/8 inch gap, and it's like an 1/8 inch farther this way to where it was welded on. And they welded it on up against this door jamb. So because the door jamb bend was off, now this is off. So I am gonna have to come in here. I'm either gonna have to pull this panel back off, or next time this rocker's out, because this rocker's just tacked in too, I need to weld along that and get an 1/8 inch gap in there. So I'm gonna weld it to fill that gap, an 1/8 inch. So we still gotta do that. Then we have to, back here, there's an extension that looks like the rocker that comes back here. I did it on the other side. I don't know if that, I think that might have been part of the lost footage, but we have to build a piece that goes back here that makes it look like the rocker goes past this piece, and we got to do the door jamb, or the door skin. So and then another thing that we got to do, which I did on the other side, on the inside of the door, on each side, I need to make a relief cut and push the top of the door in a little bit and weld that up. So so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 things that I need to do that, you know, they're the next, you know, big improvement, big finish, you know, to the finish line. So yeah, so, you know, that's what we're going to be looking forward to. Tomorrow's Monte Monday, so we'll be working on the Monte Carlo tomorrow. But Tuesday, I think the next thing that we're going to be working on is the door skin. That is the next major hurdle, and I can't really make that back cab corner piece that ties in the rocker until the door skin is done and we know that the rocker is sitting in its permanent place. I can't set the rocker in its permanent place till that door skin is done. So, you know, and the reason why is because, like, if you look right here, the door is touching the top of the rocker. So I know on the other side, once the rocker was all welded in and it was done, I had this same problem on the other side, and I put a 2x4 up here, and I hammered down on the 2x4 until it opened that gap up. So I have a feeling that's what we're going to have to do on this side as well, but we won't know until we get the door skin done. So I think that's the next major hurdle. This door skin, there are other videos of the driver's side. We need to mark where it needs to be cut. We got to cut it. We need to sandblast on the inside. Once we have this panel off, we have to sandblast everything on the inside. The other door, I don't think was this bad, but I had to rebuild the inner structure before we could put the outer structure on. So I have a feeling we're gonna have to do the same thing here. So I think that's where we'll start on Tuesday, is that right there. So I will see you guys then. Have a good night. Remember, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. See you in the next one. I'm out.